I think my father's legacy extends beyond civil rights in America. I think it's a human rights legacy because he was fighting for African people all over the globe. And his message was, you know, up united people, you can accomplish what you will. And it was one of self-sufficiency and self-determination.
With time winding down on the Obama administration, Dr. Julius Garvey is seeking a posthumous pardon for his father, civil rights icon Marcus Garvey.
The idea of empowering a people, why in your father's era was that so dangerous?
Well, it was dangerous because it was upsetting the apple cart. His mission was to create a United States of Africa, so that what he was building was a nation in exile.
In 1923, a federal court convicted Garvey of mail fraud and deported him from the United States. Garvey's supporters argue the evidence was falsified and the charge politically motivated.
This guilty verdict, it was obvious. It was the persecution of one of the first major black leaders in the United States. I mean, this is the man that Martin Luther King said was responsible for bringing dignity and consciousness to black people in the United States of America. So this was really he was the first political lynching out of a slew of political lynchings that came down the line. Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, you know, black leaders who fought for the rights of black people in the African diaspora.
It left a stain on my father. I had to grow up with this idea of my father having been imprisoned in the United States. And, you know, your initial understanding of the United States of America is that there's this wonderful flowering democracy, the best government in the world, and, you know, the justice for everyone. And here you have a father who was a criminal. Then he must have been a criminal, you know, until you get to understand the dynamics of the racism that's built into the system. And that's where we are today. That's where I have come to in terms of my own realization that it's the system. It wasn't my dad. My dad was a courageous human being who devoted his whole life to human rights.
When you think about this fight and the idea that we're in the last days of President Obama's presidency, what are you hoping?
Well, we stand on the shoulders of those who have gone before. And he was the progenitor of the civil rights movement here, the human rights movement across the world. I think this president has to understand that he is standing on the shoulders of those who have gone before in terms of the civil rights struggle, and understand that this in itself is important to his own legacy.
What would a posthumous pardon of your father mean for you and your family?
Well, I think it's bigger than that in terms of me and my family. I think what does it mean for African people, and I think what does it mean for African Americans, even more so. It's only here in the United States that Marcus Garvey is still post-criminalized. And I think what it would mean is the lifting of this stain on his name so that African Americans can feel free, as we do outside of the continent of America, free to recognize him as an ideal for which and towards which they can strive.
Hey NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.